in Chicago kept saying to me, hey, T, whenever you come back home, why don't you come over and make this or make that? And so I said, wait a minute, there's something here. I moved back to Chicago in 2014. I went and made sure that I got licensed and with the city and the state here as well as for Texas, and insured here as well as Texas. And I said, you know what? If I'm going to cook and you want to eat, this is a business. So I basically fired my boss in 2014 because I felt like they no longer needed me to help to build their company. Why not create and build my own? So that's how it started.
And how long have you been in business?
I have been Tacana's Kitchen since 2015.
Okay.
January.
So how long were you cooking before you decided to go into business proper?
Dominique, I have been cooking all my life.
So I've been giving away food every day.
You know what? Let me just tell you, before I left Chicago, I literally was the girl that I would invite my girlfriends over. We'd have a glass of wine, and we would end up in the kitchen, and I'm sauteing something, and so I've been cooking forever. My mother is a licensed chef. She's actually a teaching chef. And I never learned anything from her as far as cooking, because the typical teenager,
right.
I don't be in the kitchen with you. I don't want to be around you. So the blessing was God placed other women that were in my life that I got a little nugget from this one, I got a little nugget from that one, and never realized that the things that they sprinkled into my life would resonate and grow into this full-on recipe and this full-on palette. Because if I taste it, that slogan, like, you should just, you can't explain it any other way.
Gotcha. Oh, I'm making sure the sound's cutting off a little bit, but yeah, no. So I mean, you have a knack for it, is what you're really saying. It was a very natural kind of.
It comes easy. It's one of those things that if we go to a restaurant, if I go to a restaurant, I'm like, that's good. Let me see how I can make it better. I never forget, I had an employer when I was in Texas, and he said to me, when I got promotion for this company that I was working for, he said, whatever you didn't like from your previous boss, you need to figure out what worked with it and do it better. What didn't work and make it your own.
Gotcha.
And I took what he said to me and I added it to my business mantra. It's for me, I can taste it, and it's always like, but if I add this, it'll be awesome. And so sure enough, that's how it's been working. Yeah.
So, talk to me a little bit about the process. So, you're like, okay, I've been good at this for a long time. I've been doing it for a long time. At one point you decided it was sticking. You're like, okay, this makes sense. Why do you think it took as long as it did, or why do you think it took the path that it did for you to figure out, oh, this is the thing?
For me, I believe that all things have a season. In 2001, I was diagnosed with lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. I was told that I would not be independent. I was having visual issues. I could not live alone. I was told I wouldn't walk. A lot of those things. I had to get a message of defeat because underlying the message was this rebel and this person that if you tell me I can't, I'm going to blow your mind because I know that I can, God. And so for me, the first challenge was, oh, you'll never walk again. And then that following year, I walked a 25-mile marathon in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
Because you will not tell me what I can't. I think the rebellious spirit in me, my mom really could probably attest to this, will tell you, if you tell her she's not going to do it, she's going to prove you wrong. And so I think going through that journey and that season of what I was told I couldn't do, understanding who God is in my hands and the things that he promised me would happen through my hands when I went through that season in 2001. I didn't understand it clearly at that point, but to see it come to fruition and start to develop in 2004, I ended up leaving enjoy. And I got to Texas, I hated their food. Let me just be honest, I hated their food. It was a lot of chain restaurants. I'm not a chain restaurant person. I am let me cook. I am the person that you remember back in the day, Mima, Nana, in her house robe and those slippers that she would never pick her feet up. And she would slide, always ate those good biscuits. I am, that is who I have become because of the women that have put their fingerprints in my life over the years. And I listened. I listened. So I think as a result of that journey and not knowing and not even thinking that it ended up becoming. And it's something that I enjoy doing that's effortless for me. And so what I know is
recording has started.
Sorry, go ahead.
Whatever it is that you can do easily, it's your call. It doesn't impact you, it doesn't tire you, it doesn't make you feel like, oh my God, I can't wait till I get off. I can literally cook. This weekend I cooked for 30 hours. I was up overnight to provide a catering menu for a client, 450 people. And I no, aren't you sleepy? But my body was like, this is easy. You got this alone. And it was fine. So
wow.
I don't know. It just happened.
It just happened. You rolled into it. But you've been in business, this is like the first formal year. So talk to me about what's the first year like? What's that experience? A lot of women, it's like, you want to get to 5, 7, 15, 20 years, right? But the first year can oftentimes be the hardest year. What has that been like for you?
Yeah, the first year of anything is always the hardest. I don't care what it is. It is always the most difficult. For me, it's been a challenge. Challenging myself. Let me say that first. I was going through the process of, do I hire staff? Do I need to, get a brick and mortar? Do I need to change any of what I'm doing? Financially, how can I afford to do this? I substitute teach. So that's not working with my special ed kids. So do I? It's really a guy because I have the Lord, and so for me, it's like everything comes together. The finances. I figured, you know what? Let me start by doing this. And that not only mentals, but all necessary to build started to happen. And my biggest thing was client reviews. I don't ever want to. It's a business. I mean, I have beautiful, wonderful business coaches that taught me you don't want to be in this business to peddle. You want to meet a need, and the need that I feel like I actually started out thinking about after her pushing and encouragement was, what is it that I'm doing that others are not focusing on? And for me, it is helping us as a community get out of this fast food trend, get healthier, get off of the medication. And because I am a survivor of lupus and rheumatoid arthritis, and I'm no longer on any meds at all, I can attribute a lot of that not just to God's doing, but I can attribute a lot of it to what I'm intaking, what I eat. And it's not been for me, how much more beneficial would it be to our community and to others everywhere? Everybody needs to eat healthier. You need something live every day. So I mean, that's my thing. That's it.
No, that's awesome. I think because a lot of times, we'll start with this kind of big idea, like I want to just save the world. I want to do all this stuff. And it's really hard to take that idea and put it into something that's tangible that we can go, okay, that's how I'm going to get there. Right. So it's actually awesome to hear that you're like, I started with a problem that I was trying to solve. Right. And then I created a solution.
Absolutely. Yeah. I see too many people dealing with diabetes, dealing with all kinds of medications. And the reason that for me, it was very choose for this to be what I deal with for the remainder of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 43 years old now, and I remember my doctor saying, oh, you won't make it beyond 30. You won't make it beyond 30, Tacana, because you have A, B, C, and D that you're dealing with. A lot of it is hereditary. I refuse to believe that what was generational couldn't stop and would not end with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was my mission to not just figure out how to stop it with myself, but completely eradicate it for others and use that as, that's my business, man. Listen, you want to eat right, you want to live longer, let me feed you.
Yeah.
For real. I know how to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's high blood pressure or whatever it was, the medication that you're taking that's synthetic in the long run is hurting you more than a fresh vegetable is.
Mm-hmm.
And I can show you that. I can provide that for you. Whatever it is, I want to help. And so that was my mission. And it has been something that has been a life joy for me.
I was like, you don't look a day past like 28, so like, yeah.
Thank you. 23 happened January 11th.
What? Black don't crack. Seriously. I was like, what? I forgot that you don't look like a day past 30. I mean, that's crazy.
That's all God, man. Listen, I can't even take any credit for it. Promise you, none. I tell people, I met somebody the other day and she said, are you kidding that? I said, listen, there's a song that I don't look like what I've been through. I really, really don't.
Right.
For real. For real. For real.
I think that's probably true for many of us. I think, life throws you a lot of curveballs. And so to that, point, what do you think? So, I mean, lupus is obviously a huge curveball in your life, that you went through. How do you feel like those kind of moments in your life sets you up for what you're doing now? Because I think a lot of times we don't correlate like entrepreneurship with like other struggles, but in a lot of ways they're very similar experiences.
Well, for me, I learned that I am my best advocate.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else. I can trust me. I can trust, and when I say I can trust me, I'm not meaning Tacana.
Mm-hmm.
I can trust who God has shown me He is through me. That what it is that I'm called to do is so not about when I got sick, when I went through that, and how He healed. None of that. It was so much bigger. Just to even tell you something briefly, it's amazing. And now that we're talking, I thought about it. When I first got diagnosed with lupus and RA, they gave me another label, and my retina started to detach from my cornea, and I was having vision issues where that's why they could say, oh, you won't be independent, you won't be able to drive, blah, blah, blah. At the time, there was a prayer on the corner every Thursday at the church that I attended at the time. I literally had to take one of my strongest medications on Thursday. However, I had someone that is still dear to my heart. She would pick me up for corner prayer. And it never failed. There would always be someone in our circle for corner prayer that was worse off in their medical situation than I could ever have been. And it would be my turn to pray for them. For me, the lesson that I learned is you can never sit on what you think is the problem for you, because God has somebody that your situation will help. So He employed me to pray for people that were sick. At home, I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait. See how I'm not doing well. I'm not self-sufficient. I pray for someone else. And what I learned in that is, it's not about you. It's about why you're here. And it's all that. So allow whatever it is that you're going through to be an assistance to help someone else get over whatever their battle is. Rather than you sit stagnant and say, I'm just going to sit here and get attention And I learned that the more I prayed for other people, the more I got rid of the ideology that it was about me and woe is me, central complex, the quicker the side of what it is that he needed to teach and see. So that's what I learned. You know, and 15 years later, that's what I learned.
No, that's impactful, and I think it shows through in the business that you're building and how you're approaching it, right? Are you running your business by yourself? Do you have staff? Do you have a team? Is it just you?
It's just me. I'm sole proprietor. I have an LLC. It is just me. I actually do hire staff if the catering, if someone hires me for a catering event, if it's too overwhelming, if it's too much for me to do alone, then I definitely do hire. But right now it's just me. I never wanted a brick and mortar. I just want to travel. I travel in the summer of last year, 2016. I was traveling month to month, going to each state, doing a pop-up kitchen and doing things like that, just to get the word out and brand myself.
Awesome. So are you doing business outside of Chicago? Like,
absolutely.
So what does that look like?
Texas. I try to come to Texas because, again, that's where this baby was birthed, in Texas, right before I moved back home to Chicago. And I'm there. I try to come there at least twice a year and do a pop-up kitchen and get the word out. But, monthly I try to go somewhere different, or in the summer when school is out, of course. I try to go somewhere different so that I can spread the word. And I typically go where is someone there that I actually know, so that they can spread the word for me and kind of get it out, get the buzz out there, and I do a pop-up kitchen, and it's awesome.
So talk to me about this strategy, because I think a lot of times what I see is a lot of women, whether it's brick and mortar or not, they think of one business, right? And what you're talking about is a little bit of you're trying to create some version of scale. So talk to me about Tacana's Kitchen 2.0, because you're obviously building towards something beyond just the takeout restaurant right now.
Correct. So what I've been doing is, like I said, I go once a month. So my process has been work smart, not hard. Because I travel quite a bit. I have friends. I built a great rapport with a lot of people, and they have all moved to different states. So I have actually utilized those friendships, and I'm able to travel monthly to different states to network with their people. And the goal is to, at some point, I always market myself as a personal chef, but I definitely don't want to be stuck in, like I said, a brick and mortar at this point, because I love teaching. So, and again, I stated I am a teacher. So I love teaching people how to free themselves of the fast food market. And so the freedom that I have with going and traveling, it allows me to do that. I can have a class in another state monthly. I can do a meal prep class at a local grocery store in Texas or wherever. I have the blessing is I've made those connections with different people. So whether it be Texas or Miami or the Carolinas, it doesn't matter. New Orleans, wherever it is, there is someone in thank God, each state that I have that are willing to allow me to come in and teach a class or express or share some of the things that I'm able to do. And so for me, that's the 2.0. I don't want to put a limit or a ceiling on what I can do, because right now the sky is the limit, and it's working.
Yeah. So how do you see? Well, talk to me about that. So, right, because you are working full time, correct?
Yeah. Well, yes, I am.
Or seasonal, right, for the school year. So
correct.
You have your summers off, and so you're traveling, and so you're doing pop-ups. Talk to me on a revenue level, how you see that sustainability. Like, so when I talk about 2.0, there's like the activity, and there's like actually the revenue stream. Like, what's the consistent revenue? Like, how do you see yourself creating a stable business over time? Because that's the biggest problem people have. They make some money, then they stop because they can't sustain the revenue.
Well, right now, honestly, one of the reasons that I keep teaching is not because that is something that is my consistency. It is something that I use as another network. I mean, and so that's there because that's my passion. I love it. I want to make sure that I teach another child a trade or impact them with how to take care of themselves if they can't find a 9 to 5. Revenue wise, you have to market yourself appropriately. You have to brand yourself. You have to become a local name. So one of the reasons that I travel from state to state is because at some point I want my name, I want Tacana's Kitchen to be something everybody is aware of, and that will help the revenue. You know, once people know you, whether they are able to contact you or not, they know somebody that may be closer to where you are, and they can refer. And so a lot of times referrals, that's where your money is, and that's one of my biggest reasons for asking people to make sure you do a review. And so 2 years ago, Restaurant.com, and this is something that's still mind-boggling to me, they nominated me as the best of the best takeout kitchens in Chicagoland area, and I'm like, how in the world did they even find me? Come to find out, one of their regionals, she said, somebody brought one of your dinners in. What? I can't even tell you who the person is that brought it in, but that kind of acknowledgement goes a long way. And so last year I did an interview with the radio station here, internet station here in Chicago. That's networking, that's getting the word out. All of those things assist with the revenue piece of it because it helps to give a foundation. It helps to build, and once you have branded yourself appropriately and you become a recognized name, then you don't really have to worry as much about the revenue. It's going to come, but you have to do the work. And I never stop doing the work. Posting, advertising, marketing, branding, making sure that I'm visible. The work doesn't stop.
Yeah, so a lot of the women I speak to struggle a lot in the marketing component. It's probably their biggest fear, their private page versus their business page, and how much they have to do, and how does it work, and just how much it costs. So what has been your strategy? How have you approached like social media marketing? Obviously you're doing like word of mouth and in-person marketing. So how do you approach like making a plan that you can manage to, market your business?
What I typically do is I know weekly. So I know that the more you're in their face, the more you post. People are media hungry. I mean, we're living in an age where media is the king. And so you have to be visible. So I typically will go on live. I'll talk about a menu. I'll Snapchat what I'm doing. Something about the sound of the sizzling salmon. It is, it's amazing for people because people are visual. And so what I've learned in marketing for myself and advertising is the more they see you, the more they can associate your name, your face with your brand, the more personable you are with your audience, the more you communicate, the more business you'll get. And so weekly, I post my weekly menus on Monday. I communicate throughout the week. And then on Saturday or Sunday, whenever the menu is available to those that have ordered, I'm posting while I'm cooking. I post what it looks like. And I'm one of those people that will say, wow, you really should have ordered. You didn't order? So I play on the subconscious of, are you kidding? Aren't you hungry? Growl much? Just that kind of thing. So it's a lot of that kind people look for. And so I've had people to call me and say, oh my God, I'm starving now. Are you serious? Or I have a Thanksgiving menu that goes out, and I had a client in particular that called me the day after Black Friday crying because they had a horrible experience with their family, and she forgot to order from Tacana's Kitchen, and she called and begged. She said, whatever you have, I'll buy it because my kids have to have a Thanksgiving. So it's that kind of interaction. I have to be involved. I have to be present. I have to answer the phone. Even even if it's 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning when no other restaurant is open, I've had people to call me and say, listen, I just have a few questions. I have to be present. And that is what I learned in this business. It actually works. Personable, being there, communicating with people, and letting them know exactly this is what it is.
No, 100%. I mean, I love that because I think so many people think it's like a, business is this thing you set and forget, or it's like this big lofty goal that someone else executes for you. And even if you have support and help, you can never really like take your eye off the ball of your business. So you wouldn't, your kid can be playing in the living room, and there's people around, but you're never going to keep your eye off your kid. You're going to make sure that they're okay. And people kind of don't, do that with their businesses. They kind of think, oh, I'm going to get an intern to do my social media. Or I'm going to get this person to do this. And it's like, maybe, but really it's more about like, are you spending the time to nurture, right? To nurture the business.
This is my baby. Listen, I tell people all the time, I was married for 10 years. I'm divorced in 2014. And I said to somebody, I said, I didn't have any children through that marriage, but this is actually my birthing. This is my baby. And I treat it as such.
Yeah.
My baby is 2.5 years old. My baby listen, I'm a teacher, so at 2.5 years old, there's a developmental stage.
Yeah.
We're going through developmental process. And so the same way that you'd handle a 2-year-old is the same way that I treat my baby. This is my baby.
Yeah.
I am overwhelmingly, I am a hoverer. For lack of better words, this is my baby.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do everything that I can so that my child not only develops, but they're overly developed and they excel and exceed in their class.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm about.
No, that's awesome. I think that's a great message for people because they often, I talk to women all the time who like, they can't even focus on one business, right? They want it all to happen. I had a great conversation with a woman the other day who's like, well, I want to do coaching. I want to do these 3 different coaching courses and I figured out my schedule. It's going to look exactly like this. And I'm like, no one even knows what you're talking about. How are you going to start with 3?
Right.
Start with 1.
Right. Well, let me tell you, just to talk to you about that, I had someone to say to me, I needed to focus on just one business. As I stated earlier, I started in the 90s. I'm a licensed nail technician, a freelance makeup artist. And in Chicago, that's what people still would call me for, proms and weddings. And Tacana's Kitchen didn't actually start until 2014. So I'm still getting phone calls in 2017 to come out and do the makeup or to come out and, do that kind of stuff, sing or something. So somebody actually said to me, you need to really just focus on one thing. And I said, now, you are a one-trick pony. Should I adhere or just do what you say? Because all you are is you're able to only do one thing. I'm multifaceted. But what I had to focus on is what all of these businesses have in common. My hands. They're all of service. They're all of hands. They're all something that I can do with my hands. So instead of me saying, oh, I'm just going to focus on the one, the other 2 businesses are developed and established. They are adults. I have to focus on the baby. As a mother, once your kids are in their 20s, you don't have to focus on them as much as you do the toddlers. So it doesn't mean you get rid of the adults. It means that the adults are self-sufficient and they can handle themselves, right? The toddlers are who need the nurturing and the coddling and that's where I'm at with it. So I'm never going to get rid of that, but I have to put into focus what is necessary to develop this baby, grow this baby, mature this child, so that it can function on its own like the other businesses that I have.
Well, that makes sense 100%. I mean, I think most women are doing the opposite. They're trying to birth triplets. And that's and you need
a staff and a team with triplets.
Right, and that's where the rub is, right? To your point. Like it's like you can definitely build upon one thing and then go to the next thing, but to do them all at once, when you're not prepared to do all of them at once, that can be the overwhelm, but you can build it over time for sure. What is something that you weren't expecting? What is something that kind of surprises you about the business that you're in now?
What surprises me is support. When I was cooking at home and just girlfriends hanging out, or whomever it was, that was great. When there's a price point to it because it's my business, I'm very surprised with the lack of the support from some of those in my community.
Mm-hmm.
This is something, everything for me is at a level of integrity and a professionalism, and I teach. So for me, when I say I teach, I'm not talking about in a classroom with children. I'm talking about with other adults, teaching them how to do meal prep, teaching them how to get their lives in order. This is something that's serious that people get paid to do. So it surprises me that you'll watch someone on television, but you have someone locally that does it, and you don't give them the same amount of respect as a business owner, as someone that is a professional in their area of expertise. That surprises me.
Yeah. I get it. I think, I think it's always hard for folks because, if you're not an entrepreneur, you don't really understand what it means. And so you don't really understand what the indicators of success are. Most people only have one idea of what success means, which is people on TV. They don't understand any other version of that story. Yeah. So it lives outside of them, like what it means to be an entrepreneur financially, but also lifestyle wise, right? It's a different path that most people are not taking. For sure.
And I mean, it's a constant work. It's not like I sleep. Let me tell you something. I literally wake up with recipes. I literally wake up with, I can do this with that and tweak this with that. It is ongoing, and I am constantly pushing what's going to be healthy and what's, and sometimes I feel like, okay, I'm flooding timelines. Let me calm down because I'm excited.
Right.
But, and some people are like, oh my goodness, yay, let's do it. But then they're like, that's all right. I'll just buy a pan of chicken from the local fast food place. And then they call me later and say, I should have gone with, and I'm thinking, why not? Just what are you, but it's separating the professionalism from the friendship and finding your niche, finding who your audience is. And so for me, I've learned some people are just not my client, and I am okay with that. I have no problem with that. And when I give a quote and it's something I get feedback of, that's too much. And I'm like, okay, well, very good. Have a good day. Because I don't get offended if it's not working for you, because I know what the 5-star reviews say.
Right.
I don't know these people that are doing these reviews at 5-star. So maybe a few, but not all of them. So, they can't be all making it up.
Right.
And that's fine.
No, and so how did you start the process? So you've been in business for 1 year, and so how is that going? Like, the pricing, the expenses, the costs, are they what you expected? Do you feel like, or is it like?
Well, I started in 2015. I want to make sure that I got licensed, and I began that process and got insured and did all that, the back end work of it. And so price wise, people don't understand how much food costs.
Yeah, I know.
From a business standpoint. And so what I had to learn that first year, because this is actually this will be going into my, now listen, I've been cooking almost since, like I said, since 2004. This is when I started really doing it in 2004. I got licensed in Illinois in 2015. So I understood the cost of food. However, the cost of food, oh my God, it's different based on the season. And so I had to make adjustments with pricing based on what time of the year it is. And I'm upfront. One thing that I've learned is my best client reviews are those, feedback I'll say, is from those that understand that when you call me for something, I may tell you, give me a couple seconds, let me call you back. I don't just deal with grocery stores. I have butchers. I have people that I actually can call and say, hey, can you price me? So those are the connections that I've made business-wise, and I'm literally giving you quotes based off what my butcher is saying. And, sometimes people are like, wait a minute. So I have to factor the cost of that service into on what I'm doing. And so some people understand. Some people love that I'm upfront and I'm honest. And some people are like, well, I can't handle it. I don't feel like I got enough, or so I've learned that those are the ebbs and ways of it, and I have to, again, it's all about who is my customer.
Mm-hmm.
And the person that is my customer understand completely.
Right.
And they're like, listen, thank you so much for being upfront. I appreciate it. I mean, I overfeed people, and that's really one of the biggest issues. So they love it.
Right. Everyone likes being overfed.
They are overfed. Listen, all of my clients will tell you, I overfeed. If you ever say to me, oh my God, Tacana, this just wasn't enough. Okay, well, what was our budget? Because our budget, you're going to be overfed for the budget that we have, and I'm going to make sure that you're sitting there drooling. I just posted something. I told somebody, people are inviting me out on weekends to come to their events, and I'm not able to come to the events, unfortunately, because I'm cooking Saturdays and Sundays. Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays are busy days for me. So I said, listen, I promise you, you will be overfed. I am the caterer. I'm the person that's actually behind the scenes doing your event. I am the girl that in the middle of the night, when you wake up and have a craving for the shrimp and grits that you just ate, I am her. Mm-hmm. She is somewhere trying to get some sleep and hiding from the phone calls because you're stalking me about your shrimp and grits.
Right. You can't do it.
But that's me.
That's awesome. That's that's an amazing following. So that's what you want.
Yeah, I love it.
So to that point, what is one of the things that you enjoy the most about your business overall? What's the thing that, gets you really excited or gets you, just smiling from the inside out?
You know what I love? I was at an event, a vendor event for something, and people I had never met walked up to me, and I didn't even have on this Tacana's Kitchen t-shirt. I didn't have anything on that they could recognize that I was Tacana from that business. Mm-hmm. And I had people walking up to me and saying, oh my God, you're the No Nana Pudding girl. Another person, wait a minute, you're the shrimp and grits lady. Wait a minute, so how much is it for a pan of that thing for me? Just because they can't pronounce my name, and that's what they identify as, you the No Nana Pudding, right, or you the shrimp and that thing for me, that I love that, because that means that I am actually branding myself appropriately. I am marketing, I'm advertising, and you don't have to remember the name as much as the slogan and what I do. Mm-hmm. The name is fine. We'll get there. You'll ask me, I'll tell you, but you will not forget those videos and stuff. And so that for me has been amazing.
Awesome.
That makes me just light up. I love it.
Well, I'm going to kind of close out with one core question. So, what is, I think we can ask, I think a simple question. So, what is the one thing, if you had to do it differently or reassess in building your business, that you would have done differently?
I would have started and got licensed in Texas back in 2005. And when I traveled to Italy to sing, I would have been traveling to do that as well as cook. Those experiences, I don't regret not having the license and doing it, but I wish I would have started earlier, because I love it so much that I hate that I waited. But what I know for sure is when you find your passion and you do what it is that you enjoy doing, time stops for you a little, and you get the opportunity to expand on what it is that you love. So you don't really lose time. I wish I had started earlier,
For sure. For sure. Well, any practical tips for entrepreneurs, maybe even older? I mean, I used to have a food business with a woman who was, she was the baker, I was the business side, and she was like, 40 something. I remember she was just like comfortable shoes, like there's like these little like practical tips about the work. Are there any practical tips you have for other entrepreneurs in their 30s and 40s who are getting started that would be helpful?
Yeah, I tell people, as I stated to you a while back, I'm a little OCD. I am an organized junkie. So for me, you have to have a plan that's planned out. You have to be organized. Organization is going to be the key to your success. And that will help you succeed, I believe, in any business. So for all entrepreneurs, you need to make certain that you write it down and you stick to your plan. You might have to be a little flexible. Things may change or happen, but your plan is your plan. And so as long as you stick to it, for me, I am a time person. So if I know I have to cook 450 people or however many people. This has to get done on this day. This needs to happen on that. And you need to stick to it. You need to sit down and write it out. Because if you don't write it out, you'll be a basket case and all over the place. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with as far as time management. You need to master your time management. So start with your personal life. If your life is in chaos, your business will reflect. Kind of get that in order. So practice now on getting Monday through Friday in order by Sunday. So plan out your week. Stick to it. And that'll help you to get structured with your business. That for me has been something that has always been successful. I've not failed. My sister's like that too. We are to a fault time-wise. You get that done, that'll help you. That's not it, but that'll start you on your great journey.
Awesome. Well, I thank you so much for taking the time amongst all your busyness that you are doing right now to get on this podcast or YouTube show or Facebook Live. And I look forward to, I'm going to be in Chicago sometime in the fall, so I will be stopping by.
But tell me, where are you located now?
I'm in Boston currently.
You're in Boston?
Yeah.
Dominique, listen, I might need to come to Boston. You should let me feed you.
Listen, Boston is a growing food city, and they are all about
seafood, and I'm a seafood girl, so that's where I need to be.
Yeah.
Hey, I need to come there and do some of my own lobster wraps.
Yeah, we will work it out. Don't even play. Don't even play.
Let's do that.
Perfect. So,
some fried green tomatoes, girl. We need to do that.
Listen, I'm telling you, don't even mess around. Because summertime is beautiful, and I'd be happy to help. We do a lot of pop-ups, and there is a huge food scene, and there's a huge kind of like clean food scene where things are locally sourced and they're available and all that stuff. So we are 100% so all in, and every one of my friends would be like, thank you for bringing her to Boston. Because I used to live in Philadelphia.
Where I haven't gone. I need to go see my godbrother in Seattle, Washington, and Boston is on the map now, so that'll work.
Summertime, and I'm not even messing around.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to get out the Facebook Live. Thank for everyone. There's a couple people that watched, but the stuff was a little bit messy, so I'm going